Are you appreciating the evolution of your desire? Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Life just keeps calling new ideas through you. And when a new idea of something that you prefer is born, what happens is you have to keep up with it or you don't feel so good. You just can't give birth to a new intention or a new desire or something more that you want without the larger part of you expanding. And when the larger part of you does expand, then this physical part of you now has a new relationship with that larger part of you. Do you see how that works? You were source energy before you were who you know yourself to be in this personality, in this body. But you are eternally tied to this non-physical part of you. You are vibration, primarily. And the larger part of you, the eternal part of you, is always, always this non-physical vibrational energy. So when you are source energy primarily, and a part of you is here in this physical body, there is a relationship between the two vibrational aspects of you, and your emotions give you constant feedback about the relationship. In other words, who you really are, no matter what, focuses in the direction of love. So when you ferret out something in your physical environment that you dislike or that you hate, then you focus yourself out of vibrational alignment with the larger part of you who always loves. Sometimes when we say that to our physical friends, they say, Abraham, you've got to be kidding. You mean my inner being or the source within me can look at what I'm looking at and feel love? And we say, the source within you finds a way of finding love or does not look. But what you have to remember is every particle of everything that exists has wanted and unwanted within it. And so maybe the best terminology for you is that your inner being, that God within you, is just a really, really good focuser. Someone who finds the best in everything and holds firmly to that expectation. And that is, in fact, why this expanding universe, of which we are all a part, remains so consistently viable and good. You can look at it even from the framework of where you stand in your physical body. That your planet spins in its orbit in perfect proximity to other planets, and that's a big deal. It's not on your to-do today list. It's not something that you form government committees about. In other words, there are commissions on just about everything, but planetary orbiting isn't one of them. And the reason is because there are many things that you understand are not your doing, not your creating. In other words, there is a broader creation that is taking place, and the non-physical part of you is and was all part of that. So what part in the creative process do you now play? Here you are, focused in your physical body, and you are giving birth to constant new requests. And something that you may not understand is that every time, if you're sick, you ask for wellness, and you emanate a rocket which is received by the non-physical part of you and brought into clear focus and held for you. If you don't have enough money and you ask for more, vibrationally speaking, the non-physical part of you becomes more prosperous in the moment of your request. But in your physical form, you don't want to talk about vibrationally speaking. You want to know, where is my physical wellness? Where is the money? Where is the new car? Where is my lover? Where are those things that I have been asking for? It's not very satisfying, Abraham, to hear you crowing about this vibrational reality or about what my inner being now has received as a result of my requesting it from my leading edge creative position. But we want you to understand that every time you ask for anything, whether you use words or whether just by knowing what you don't want, there is an other side to that vibrational wave and proportionate about what you do want, you are constantly asking all day, every day for improved life. Whether you are a full-fledged creative genius human or whether you are a one-celled organism, or whether you are the cells in some physical body, you are constantly asking, and the source within you takes the request and becomes it vibrationally. Now, that's not a very satisfying string of words for you unless you remember or understand that everything that you see in your physical world is an extension of what was a vibrational reality. In other words, vibrational reality precedes everything that is a reality. So when you get it, that you are emanating thoughts all over the place that are coming into fruition because law of attraction is assembling the cooperative components, then you begin to understand that when you think about what you want or about what you don't want, law of attraction brings it to you immediately. You are entering a time, as you knew you would when you picked this time to be present in physical form on this planet. You knew this was the time of awakening, and you knew it was a time of quicker manifestation. You knew that you could be in this physical body and get so good about clarifying your thoughts that you could literally train yourself out of resistance and into allowance of vibrational integrity with who you really are. And you knew that you could be those, or one of those, or among those who are living something very close to instant manifestation. You knew that you could get so good at training your vibration to be resistance-free that, as Jerry was playing earlier today, that the solution and the problem could present themselves so close together that you don't even know you've got a problem. That's happening to you all the time. In your physical body, you are exposed to viruses and bacteria, to poisons, to things that your physical body does not want to deal with and does not enjoy ingesting. And yet the cells of your body, when they're touched by something unwanted, offer a vibrational request for improvement, and the cells of your body find that balance in most cases without you even being aware of the work that they're doing, because they still understand, their consciousness too, that when they ask, it is given. But if you, the captain of the ship, so to speak, are really frustrated over something for a long time, or fearful of something, or angry about something, so you're chronically beating this drum of being in a bad mood over something, then even though the cells of your body are making their requests, and the source energy part of them is sending the signal and responding with the answer, sometimes you block the signal with your bad mood. And that's what illness is about. It's just an exaggerated indicator of the same things that your bad mood was an indicator of before it became so chronic and therefore such a bigger deal. So during the time that we are together here today, we want to help you to understand, accept, and really enjoy remembering that you are more than the physical body that you know as you, that there is another part of you that is viable and alive and vibrational. We want you to understand that you have the glorious experience of sifting through variety for the purpose of coming to new conclusions about how your life would be better. And when that happens, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, you then have the option of aligning with what you're asking for, or of continuing to align with the reason that you ask. If you ask for an improved condition, but you keep beating the drum of the reason that you want the improved condition, you hold yourself vibrationally apart from what you've asked for. So we've been talking to you for a while, and some of you have been listening to us for a while about this powerful law of attraction, which in very simple terms says you get what you think about. Law of attraction says that which is likened to itself vibrationally is drawn to it. It's like radio signals. When you set your tuner at 98.7 FM, you hear from that broadcasting station. You don't hear from another broadcasting station. So when you set your tuner at I'm in a bad mood because this bad thing has happened, you've set a tuner that makes it only possible for law of attraction to yield to you things that match that. So we've then been explaining to you that that's not a bad thing, because knowing what you don't want causes you to know what you do want. An equivalent bounce to that wave then occurs. In other words, when you really know what you don't want, you really know what you do want. But the thing that we want to remind you of is, when you really know what you don't want and really know what you don't want, and therefore there is a part of you that now really knows what you do want, if you've been beating the drum of really knowing what you don't want, you've trained yourself into that frequency, and it's not easy for you to let go of it and begin thinking about what you do want. But the larger part of you is only thinking about what you do want. We want to find a way today of conveying to you that as you stand in your physical body and you sift through the details of life as you knew you would, that you launch so many endless rockets of desire, and the universe expands and improves as a result of your exposure to life. It just gets better and better vibrationally. And the new generations that are born into this experience are born from this new leading edge place that you've carved out. But we want you to understand that you and every other species on the planet, better said, you and every other consciousness on the planet, and every particle of everything is consciousness, you are constantly asking for improvement, and the source energy part of you, the vibrational part of you, finds that improvement, finds it immediately, and from then on begins offering from that new vantage point. So that means that as you stand on your physical earth, and you worry about global warming, you ask for your earth to maintain its balance. As you worry about earthquakes or volcanoes, you ask for a stable environment. As you worry about economic upheaval, you ask for more stability. And what we want to convey to you is that that asking really, really matters. And that asking wouldn't be as extreme or intense or as focused as it is if you were not exposed to the life that caused you to focus it. Now, the reason it really matters is because it is from that vibrational reality that all reality that expands or extends from generation to generation to generation. And there is the longevity that you know as life on this planet extends purely. This is new. We have not said this to anyone ever, so you're going to enjoy the resonance that you feel as you hear it. As this vibrational reality that we are describing comes to be, this earth experience that extends from generation to generation to generation to generation comes only out of that vortex of creation. In other words, when we say to you, you can be sure that well-being is the order of this universe, that's how we know that to be true. Because there's only the pure, undiluted, non-resistant thought of well-being that is the basis of all this new creation. We want you to remember that you get what you think about, but you cannot do anything other than mess up your own experience. What you think about here in this physical realm, of course, law of attraction is responding to it. You get what you think about. But we want you to understand, we want you to get it, that there is this vibrational reality that is formed, that the larger part of you, the eternal part of you, the part of you that lives on and on and on, the part of you that is the next generation and the next, the part of you that is God force, the part of you that keeps this planet spinning in its orbit in perfect proximity to other planets, that part of you is the receiver and the holder of the best of life that you're synthesizing. In other words, we want you to hold in your mind the idea of this place marker that source energy is, that as you carve out the details of life experience and you know what you don't want to be sick, you want to be well, and on and on and on. As you keep emanating those rockets of desires, source energy, the God force within you, inner being, whatever you're wanting to call that, holds that positive place marker. And law of attraction keeps responding to that powerful, positive place marker. Now, the reason that we're giving this to you is because we want to give you words that reassure you unequivocally of the well-being and the longevity of the eternalness of that which is you. We want you to understand that the well-being of that which you are living here on this planet is unequivocally assured.